This is Elizabeth Gomez. She is the founder of Facil clothing. Elizabeth was born and raised in the Gambia, and after she finished her A-levels in Gambia High School, she left for Sweden in 1997 to further her education, and she has a degree in financial mathematics. And she's been living in Sweden since then. But fast forward to 2016, Elizabeth decided to come back to Gambia to start a business.
I always wanted to come back to Gambia and do something differently, something that will add value, something innovative, but I never knew what that will be. So I've been looking out for different things within my field, because it's easier. I think it's easier to start a business within your field rather than doing something totally new. I'm working within the financial sector, but why Facil? Living in Sweden and coming back home for holidays, I always have friends and family asking for better quality underwear, better quality t-shirts, and most especially better quality vest or undershirts, something you wear under, because it's very hot and humid here, so you want to wear something that is light and breathable. I found that there was something missing in the market. I was doing it, giving it away for friends, family, and even some people were getting jobs and were ready to pay for it. So I was like coming with having to pay excess luggage, and now people were even ready to refund me because I was bringing 3 packs of 6 or 5 boxes or something like that. So that was what drew my attention to garments and basics, everyday thing. And that's been what I'm doing with Facil. The journey started in 2016 when I came and did my final research on the market, went back home. There was elections. I came back to register my company during the impasse. And it wasn't successful because Jammeh was creating trouble. So I had to, like everyone else, I had to run back home, and then came back when he left and registered the company.
But how did you go about your research, and how did you know that there was a need for undergarments? How did you went about your research and things? Yeah,
initially I did what you do in Europe. You just because I knew Gambians were not open, to talk about underwear and their preferences and all that. So it was difficult because I was asking around. I found a little bit people yow man like this my draws, yow la have my draws, So I developed before. You have Google Forms, and then there's this Spanish company. It's like Google Forms, and so I did my questionnaire and I sent it to people in my network, Facebook, to just answer. Most who answered were men. So initially I was thinking women, because most of these products that I brought were mostly, it was women that I felt sorry for, because as a woman, I wear bras. Women want to wear bras in Gambia, but they don't have the right size of bra. They don't have access to the right type of bra. Okay, so initially I was saying, okay, I'm going to do something for women. So when I did this survey online or through my network, it was mainly my male friends that answered, the Gambian male friends that answered the questionnaire with regards to buying power, preferences, and all that information. That data was coming from the male side. So that made me realize that, okay, if I need to go in and invest into this, then I need to invest more into the men. So that's how it started, but I didn't leave the women away. I had to bring in even women stuff, even though today 85-90% of what we sell is actually male. Most of my staff have 11 full-time employees, and they're all female. And then I have one part-time. He works 60%. He does printing work and all that. But initially when we were training them, we had males, but I think they were more used to getting paid on daily or weekly basis rather than wait for a month. So when they got paid, I lost them. And I had one guy, he was trained, and he became my machine guy, and then he left for Senegal, unfortunately. So, but back to your question, Yeah, it's been a very, very challenging thing to do something so innovative as what Facil is doing right now. Doing t-shirts and vests and bralettes and underwear, the boxers and boxer briefs and all that. It's innovation for Gambia. No one is doing it, and we don't have the skill to do it. I didn't know we didn't have the skill to do it. I thought, I'm here to create jobs, and going into production is a way of creating lots of jobs. Because if you think of the value chain, you create jobs all the way to the person at the desk selling to a customer. So that was my motivation. But what I realized was we don't have the skill set. Our schools don't teach our students how to handle material like this. We teach our students how to handle woven material, the wax material, the batik. We do a lot. We are very creative with that, but no one is doing anything innovative. And if you want to do something new, then you have to bring in the skill set. That was something that wasn't even budgeted for. I thought I had the skill set in the country. With the old research I did, that was one key thing I missed. Because I was here, I spoke to the school centers and all that, and I knew, okay, I'll get the right type of people, they're skilled and all that. But what I missed was they don't know how to operate an industrial machine, for example. To start with, all my machines are industrial. Some are even electronically programmed. You program them. So you need to have, you're not only a tailor, you need to also think technically, and also to mass produce as I do, things get even more technical, because you're not only producing for one person, you're producing for, let's say, 80% of the whole population, so you have the technical bit has to be incorporated in the work we do, and we don't have that training either. So that was, I could have failed right away, because money that was maybe planned or budgeted for marketing when the training was done and all that had to go into bringing in experts to teach my staff, to learn more about materials, how the materials is made. It's knitted, like this one is knitted. All t-shirt material is knitted fabric. How you cut it is different from the way you cut your poplin or the wax material. So it's been a very expensive thing to do in the beginning because of the lack of skills. So skills is a huge problem. That's why when any opportunity I have, I raise it, because if we really want to create jobs for our youth in this country, and this is our asset. We have so many young people. If we really want to utilize that asset well, we have to invest in them, invest in giving them new skills that can help them grow and employ themselves or be employable. And we need to think innovation, not only do the things that everyone else have been doing or our grandparents have been doing. For me, that's what drives me. But the challenges are enormous, especially when you're doing it on your own. I wish we were 3 or 5 of us who are doing underwears or who are doing t-shirts. Then at least we can, help each other and, do things together, and it helps. But if you're doing it alone, it feels very, very lonely. You're not understood. The second thing is doing business with this country is also very, very, very unfriendly. Like I told you in the beginning, all raw materials you see here in our production is imported. From threads. I use soft threads. I don't use hard threads. And we have different type of threads, because I work with underwear. I can use which thread I want. Not the cheapest either. The materials, the design, and how, the machinery. Everything is not available in this country.
So you mentioned that your machines are like industrial machines and electronics. So do you have like a special someone here operating the machines, or?
Yeah, now I have a Senegalese who comes in when we have problems, and also comes in once every second month to run.
But you don't have a Gambian that's doing it?
No, there's no Gambian doing it.
Why is that?
I brought Gambians here, and they will say, "Oh, sister, man, most markets for some B." Yeah. The Senegalese who has the training even though he's never seen most of our machines, he's never touched them before, but because he has that training, he knows what to look for. He's not afraid to open up the machine. He's not afraid to check. He gets the machine manual, the parts manual, and he goes, okay, the stitches are jumping, then you need to do this and that. But the Gambian, they will just watch the machine and say, oh, I've never seen this before, and they leave. They're afraid to touch it. I've had that on many different occasions. Because before we had a UK technician that I brought to Gambia, and it became very, very expensive to sustain. So I needed someone local because, their machines, they need to be looked after. It's just like your child. They need to be fed with oil. They need to be dusted. We have so much dust in this country, and dust actually is affecting the productivity of these machines. So you have to be wiping and opening the machine once weekly, especially those that are you use you don't use often. You have to open them up, and because they're made of electronics, those that are programmable, they will stop working because of dust. So you just all the time have to be maintaining them. Even if you don't use them, on a daily basis, you still have to maintain them. The machine oil, one of my managers was thinking cheap, and she bought oil from the market, and it destroyed our machine.
Wow.
So we don't even buy local. We have to buy from abroad.
So like everything from the needle to
the threads to the machine parts, everything is all our raw materials are imported.
Wow.
Everything.
So there's nothing available locally here. For
the type of production we do, not even the threads. We also tried to buy threads locally. Again, my manager, she said, "Yo, Ili, you look in Europe." I told her, "Okay, try it." The machine broke the thread all the time, so we cannot even use local thread for our machines. Currently buy from
How does that affect the business from?
Of course, it affects our cost of production. Because the raw materials we need in our daily production is not available locally, so we have to import. And with importation, and especially now since COVID came, shipping, logistics, the disruption in that field has been very, very expensive, and taxation has gone up. Gambia has become a very, very, very business-unfriendly country, especially businesses that depend on imports of raw materials like mine. It's just too expensive to do business with Gambia. It's very, very, very expensive to ship to Gambia now. And at the end of the day, that extra charges is transferred on the product that I also sell, So
how has been the sales of the products too?
The sales have not been doing well, especially since COVID came, and we're still struggling. Sales-wise, if our sales don't go up, it will probably kill our business right now.
You've mentioned that your sales, there's not been enough sales, and why do you think that is?
I think it's because people don't know. Our marketing has been very poor, and it's because we haven't invested in marketing. We've been investing in production to improve on quality, because I don't want to do something mediocre. If I wanted something mediocre, I won't go into production, And I'm creating a brand. I want my brand to represent quality made in Gambia, not that is something that I have to work very hard for still, because a lot of Gambians have this inclination that anything made in Gambia is poor quality. That's what I'm trying to change people's mindset, that actually there are businesses that they are focused on quality and they deliver quality. Not all that is made in Gambia is just crap. So that's my mission, and that's what I want to change. So it's one thing, we've not been marketing ourselves because personally I've been focusing on production a lot, because we've had issues with production.
She mentioned that one of the reasons like they have low sales is because of, marketing. But I think the other thing is also like the pricing, because I have a clothing brand myself, and mostly people will reach out to me and, boy, and when I tell them the price, they'll tell me, okay, we'll get back to you. And then, I'll never see them again. But I figured it's because of the pricing. I think the same thing with Facil here. The pricing is not something that like the average Gambian could afford. But again, these are like high-end, high quality products that last. I can attest to that because right now I'm wearing the t-shirt and the quality is just, amazing. And the underwear too, high quality and super comfortable. Like she mentioned, the thing with production is the higher the quantity, the lesser the price. So if more Gambians decide to, support and take ownership of this, then the prices will eventually go down. Then they'll be able to produce, large quantities and use these machines to their full potential, because she invests a lot of money from the imports, the machines, solar, the facility, the staff, everything. All that just to produce, quality products. So obviously the prices are not going to be the same as the secondary markets. But, for broke people like us, that is the price that, we can afford. But I still think it's doable if Gambians, the middle class and the upper class, decides that, from now on, we're only going to wear, made in Gambia underwear. So as time goes on and the demand increases, hopefully the prices will go down and, people like us could also join in. Someday in the future, I want to see Facil products dominating the market. And instead of these Indian boxers, I want, wherever you turn, you see Facil boxers. Because why not, they are made ethically in the Gambia by our own brothers and sisters, built by our sister with her salary and savings in Sweden.
So, do you have funding, grants, government or something, or how do you fund this? Because these machines and all these things, they're costly. So.
They cost. It's very capital intense thing to do. Production, any form of production. We're doing garment production, we're mass producing, so we have different machines for different tasks. One machine knows only how to sew one type of stitch, and the other machine complements it by doing another type of stitch and so forth. So it's a combination of different machines that do the work that we do, the underwears or vests and all that. So it's a huge investment. But unfortunately, no, I'm not funded. When I went to the accelerator program, I came third. So I got a token. I won't say it's like 25,000 crowns. In Swedish money, that's what I've received so far.
In Ghana,
free.
That's how much?
It's 125,000. That's the money capital injection I've gotten outside my pocket. Everything else is coming from me, my own savings, and still, sustaining it, so far. So I'm looking for grants. I've applied, but I've been told mostly, I think people have this notion that I'm in Europe, so I should be able to, take care of it myself or something. And if I question and push, they say, all the funding we have is for people under 35, like these projects that you have around.
That people in Gambia needs the funding
more. Exactly, but still, they don't see the potential of mass production. We are creating self-employment in this country. All this, I came from a meeting this morning. I was very mad, that even the training they were given was aligned with the funding period. So they're squeezing a training that was designed for 24 months to 8 months because the funds are only available in 8 more months. It made me crazy. I was, what? So it's more about training more people than actually making an impact, and we need to wake up because these NGOs are accessing funds in the names of Gambia and Gambian youth. And here, they're only out here for outcomes. They are not here for impact. It's just crazy because I know where the funds are coming. It's taxpayers' money. I am a taxpayer in the EU, and that's where most of the money to these projects are coming from. And they look for funds in the name of Gambian youth, migration, youth empowerment, whatever you call it. And yet they don't do their homework properly. They don't talk to stakeholders. What is it? Where do we see the gaps? What are the gaps that need to be fixed so that people can scale their businesses? Not everyone will be able to start his or her own business. There's no capital for that in this country. And these programs are not even giving capital, not enough, they'll give you what, $1,000 or $5,000, see?
$50,000.
$50,000, yeah, that's $1,000. You know, very few will make a sustainable business out of that. You know, how many jobs are created out of that? So we need. I think we need to think outside the box and think new. Empower businesses that have potential to expand and scale and become bigger employers, create more jobs through those establishments.
I agree, they need to focus more on businesses that has the potential to scale and become big employers in this country. Like this business here, it has the potential to employ hundreds of youths and even go beyond Gambia.
As I said, it's my salary that's sustaining the business, But that money has gone into solar panels, that money has gone into, going off-grid, because you cannot run a production like mine on now.
Your day job in Sweden to fund this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but you're not fully based in Gambia. You just
because of that. Because I still cannot. Business is not sustaining itself.
How does that your business? Because you are the founder, it is your business. How does it affect if you're away from your business? Because business is here. You have to be here and to see how it works. Your staff to do the right job. So if you are away, do you see any change?
Of course. Being here would have enabled us to grow faster. I see the difference when I'm around and when I leave. Even sales-wise, when I'm around, I sell. I get to meet the right people, talk with the right people and all that. But when I transfer those accounts, those people, their contacts to my sales people, my sales staff, everything falls apart. So being here is, initially I was like, but you know what, I'm going to empower my staff, I'm going to give them whatever they need to do, train them and all that, but it's not enough.
So whenever you leave, you see a difference?
Oh yes, I see a difference
in quality or?
That was those consistency problems I told you about, that we come up to a level that was, we say, yes, this is where we have to be. This is the baseline. Everything else should be above, and then we dip. Like when I wanted to sell from Sweden, products were sent to me, and I would say only 20% passed quality control. The quality control I performed when I got the products, and I sent it back. Another year later, this was 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, we said, okay, let's try the UK market. It's a bigger Gambian population, bigger diaspora population, and also it's cheaper. UK is a cheaper market than Sweden. Sweden is a very expensive country. And my cousin was helping her with the sales. I wasn't paying her anything and all that. So we shipped the products to her. Same problem. Like 60% were good, 40% were bad. So we had to ship them back. Actually, just a few months ago, we shipped back those products. But we haven't, during 2020, 2021, we haven't been producing for Facil. We just started producing again in 2022. And so far, we don't have issues. I haven't seen any issues. So we've improved a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the future for
Facil? Our future is based on sales now. We've been perfecting our thing. Now we are ready to sell, and we have to sell in order to sustain the whole thing. So that's our focus. Sell. So we are going to open our own own outlet, and also we are doing uniforms, because we've been selling to our undershirts, the vests and all that, and people were like, you guys should do more, you should do PE kits for kids and all that. And so we are entering into that market. So we just had training, we just completed training, 2 months training on uniforms that we made. So we are doing shirts, we are doing long sleeve, short sleeve, shorts, long trousers, skirts, basic, in most common colors that people use in schools. So we will have that. So anyone who wants a uniform, you can always reach out to us. We don't take measurements. We are a factory. We produce from nursery level, from age 3 to age. For uniforms, we produce from age 3 to 18.
So you mentioned that before the plan was to go to China and Turkey, and also what changed?
Yeah, we are not used to produce in Gambia. When I saw this market, there's this gap in the market for quality underwear, quality everyday basics. Producing them wasn't my first. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it. We can make it in Gambia. We have lots of youths. They're going to these skill centers and they can do it. That wasn't my initial thing. I was also very skeptical to doing production in Gambia, like everyone is. And also production in Gambia is very expensive because when you do all the research, you realize we don't even have cotton in Gambia any longer. And making cotton-based material like we work with or we produce, you have to be importing, and importation and the risk for corruption and bribery is so high. And I work for a bank. I don't want to be caught up in that mess. I can lose my job, my day job, So it wasn't, going to production wasn't my initial thing. So my initial business plan was, okay, there's a need for this. I've seen the gap myself. So let me just go and do as everyone is doing in Europe. They go to Turkey, they go to Portugal, they go to China, they go to, if you want something mass produced or cheaper, or you go to China. So yes, I did, like everyone else, do lots of research on Alibaba, got contacts, traveled to Canton fair, which is like the biggest fair in the world. I didn't know. So it was overwhelming. Poor me, tiny me, just having an idea of doing something in Gambia. But the first thing that discouraged me was these contacts I made on Alibaba turned out to be like middlemen. They were not actually factory owners. I thought I was communicating with factory owners. But when I met them, it was like, okay, I am representing the factory, or some say so, and then it turned out they were not even representing any factory. They were just middlemen trying to find European buyers so they can link them with factories, depending on what quantities and what quality level you want and so forth, what market you're targeting, So they seen me and I talking of, I'm going to supply Africa. They think, okay, then you have to go to this one and mass produce, and then the quantities are enormous. There were like containers worth of products that they wanted, that you then to bring down the price down, because in this business of production, it's always quantity. The more you buy, the lesser the price, per item. So I said, no, that's not for me. I don't have first, I don't have the capital. Two, I don't have the market to bring in container of underwear in, a few colors that I can afford. And if Gambian market doesn't like those colors or those styles, then I'm fucked, sorry for my language. So very early, I discovered that, okay, this thing, it was a dream, but it's way too big, I need to scale down. So I went back home, rethink, checked, again, with the research I did in Gambia, I know, the buying power of people, because I don't want to target the top notch, because they won't even, they are the people, the most difficult people to convince to buy locally made. Because they have the means, they travel to America, they travel to Dubai, they travel all the time, they can buy from the airport shops and whatever they need. Or they can sit in the comfort of their homes and just click online, Amazon or any other online store and pay whatever those horrendous fees are and still get their products. So I wanted to sell to the middle class, So I had that, restriction on me, because I cannot go I cannot sell up under market prices. So I came back, had to redo some of my homework, and then also try to talk directly with factories. By then I was going through an accelerator program in Sweden. And my mentor then at the program said, okay, we know this individual, they produce in Turkey. So maybe you can look into Turkey. So I was in Turkey on a fair, and luckily I found the current company that we buy fabrics from at that fair. But when I came back, I was even very ready to start, buying from producers, from Turkey, because I had my designs and everything was already done in Sweden. But when I went back home to Sweden, something happened that changed my whole view of Gambia, future, youth problems, backway problems, and all that. And that was when I said, okay, I'm going to produce myself and create those jobs in Gambia.
In Gambia, okay.
Oh, I would say work together. Work together. Gambia is a very, very small market. To make an impact and scale quicker, you need to work together and complement each other, and let's do it and let's export. The market is bigger outside Gambia, so we need to work to collaborate, work together. Here, I see young people doing a lot of good, cool stuff, but they're doing it on their own.
On a much smaller scale.
And it will be super tiny scale, you know. So if you're that talented, work together with people, collaborate with other people, and in doing so, you get bigger, you get stronger together. And also work on niche. Don't do everything else. People don't specialize in this country. They try this, they try that, they do that, and you know, specialize. A lot of young people are into tailoring, and they say, I'm a designer. At least specialize. Say, I'm doing children's wear. Even within children's wear, say you are doing toddlers, or say I'm doing from age 3 to 12, or I'm doing only teens. You know, you have multi-billion company, you know, in the world, in Europe or America, that are just doing teen clothing, you know,
I think maybe that's because that is at a global level. But you know, for only Gambian market.
That's what I'm saying. The Gambian market is just too small. So niche and perfect it, be a specialist on it, and get quality. But if you're not focused, you don't get the quality. And you know, also listen to people that have run a business before. Don't take advice. That's also something I've learned during my journey doing business in Gambia. People come with different ideas. Oh, try this, do this. Let's see what you know what? You should also do this. If you do this, to complement this, and then you are everywhere all of a sudden. Focus. Take advice to people who have run a business, and even those who have failed. It's the best advice you'll get from those who have failed. Because those who have succeeded, they forget very fast how the struggle was in the beginning, you know. So don't listen to those who have failed, and try to question them and understand why they failed. You know, you can learn a lot. But I would say, you know, specialize. If Facil is doing something, don't just copy it. If you really want to copy, but make sure that you do it better than Facil. Yeah? Don't do everything else, you know. So that's my advice. I see people who are doing both men, female, kids, and they're doing recycling, they're doing, it's just too much. Focus. This is a small market, you know. Focus and be best in one thing, and it's easier to market yourself. Also, it's cheaper to market yourself when you are the best in doing hats or the best in doing rings, you know, rather than I do hats, I do rings, I do dresses, and when it's Tabaski, you know, you understand me. So that's how you create sustainable businesses. I'm not there yet, but that's the advice I'll give.